So let's talk about the work-life balance, because that's always been one that's, I think, been particularly challenging for a professional services firm like you, where people tend to be highly motivated, tend to work a lot, so how do you deal with that? Because in fact, in a service firm like yours, it's more trying to get people to pull back a little bit, not trying to push them to go further, but try to control that so that people don't burn out too quickly.
Yeah. Well, I think the first comment is it's also good to understand, what work-life balance is.
Yeah.
And I think this is a sort of like cultural thing a little bit, because I mean, in some countries, work-life balance means that you work 8 hours, and then you have a lot of time, for sports,
Right.
I mean, maybe in the US, if people work less than 12 hours, they don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So I think it's partially is a cultural thing. I mean, what we try to do here in PricewaterhouseCoopers is to understand, what work-life balance is, and how people see it, how people view it, and somehow monitor it. Yeah. So what we do, we actually run on a at least yearly basis, now sort of on a more regular basis, what we call like global people surveys.
Mm-hmm.
And effectively we try to monitor, how people feel about work-life balance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we obviously know what the extreme limits are. Yeah. I mean, if I push somebody to work 20 hours a day, and weekends, it's obviously not right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it is, yes, you are right, we are a professional firm, we are projects, so sometimes, you have to travel work a bit harder.
Right.
But I think it's more about, over time, that it's under control. And I think it's probably about having mechanisms, to control these things, to understand what people think, how they see it, and react to it. Yeah. So this is how we do it. Yeah. We try to survey our people, try to understand, how they feel. We try to give them sort of different employee options, so that they can go to gym, they can spend their spare time, things like that.
Okay. Do you think that, how much of a role do you think that corporate social responsibility programs have in the overall reputation of the firm? Are they a leading contributor to sort of the brand of the firm? Or do you think that they are an auxiliary to the products that the company puts out?
Well, I think there are definitely good examples globally when sort of like firms were able to use corporate social responsibility as their sort of like competitive advantage.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are other examples, when sort of like, it's just another extreme, when companies, if they didn't deal with it at all, they polluted the countryside and things like that, that had obviously completely different impact, very negative impact, on their operations, profitability, and everything. Yeah. So I think so these are two extremes. Yeah, I would say if we talk generally about whether it has impact or not, I think I would say that more and more sort of people, more and more companies recognize that this is something what is almost a must, or at least a certain minimum. I think if it is well communicated, if it is sort of like part of their standard operations, core business, I think it definitely